We're back in 1981 talking more wolf movies. 1981, of course, was the year of the werewolf movie. We had The Howling, American Werewolf in London, and then this one that we're talking about today, which is the forgotten stepchild of that era, Michael Wadley's Wolfen. Gene, where are you at with this one?
I'm just going to say, Roger, right off the bat, Roger, I think I'm going to have to fire you. You've been selecting some movies lately, and American Werewolf in London is I like that movie. It has likable characters. You like what they're doing, and the title says American Werewolf in London, and then, and it fits because they're actually werewolves in the movie. You know, they appear in the opening sequence. Yet this movie, Wolfen, so I mean, you're kind of thinking maybe werewolves or wolves but they're kind of like the criticism of The Howling is like, where are the wolves? Where are the werewolves? Where are the wolves? Where is even the drama? And this movie has the theme of like modern American technology versus ancient Native American mysticism. And that the technology cannot hope to stand up to against the ancients, and that we're just foolish in our modern society and our reliance on technology to do anything because we're going to lose. But Roger, this movie's a piece of garbage. I hated this movie.
No.
Yeah, it's just like nothing's going on. It doesn't make any sense. And it's like at the end of the movie, the detectives are setting up an ambush. And this is an example. Like you set up an ambush, you have to be quiet. You have to be deliberate. You're stealthy. But no, they're just as loud as all heck. They have on their high-powered rifles, they have these night vision scopes. Are they even using them? Nope. The guy's just making lots of noise. Radio chatter is eating his big bag of chips. And so the wolf comes and gets him, of course, because he can hear him 3 miles away. And it's just like, movies exist on this thing called suspension of disbelief. Because in a way, if you think about movies, they're really ridiculous things. I mean, you go to a theater, right? It's just it's artificial creation. And then you're watching this thing projected on a screen and we're supposed to like it. But it works because of the suspension of disbelief, I guess is the phrase. And we can just accept what we're seeing. We kind of part of us know it's not reality, but we can accept the different reality that's given to us. And we kind of let our minds just accept it. But you have to live within the reality you create. Because what is that other piece of garbage movie we saw, that space movie where they travel to hell?
That really awesome movie called Event Horizon, you mean?
Piece of garbage.
Love it.
Event Horizon. It's like they're in space, right? And there are these astronauts. Well, you have astronauts acting in very non-astronaut ways. And so it's like, if like, I was thinking about how to describe this on the way over here. Like lately, I was just killing time because I'm a big NFL fan, right? Although my Broncos are just a pitiful mess,
as they should be.
Yeah, as they should be. We don't even get into that, but yeah, the Chiefs, 49ers coming up. So watching this Netflix thing on quarterbacks, and they have this, they're highlighting Kirk Cousins. I'm like, are you out of your mind? So I just fast forward all the part. And I stick to the Patrick Mahomes part. And, and it's cool. It's to learn in depth about him. But what I'm getting to is that just say there's a producer who wants to make a movie about NFL quarterbacks, but he casts in his movie NFL quarterbacks like these overweight women. You'd be like, what? NFL quarterbacks are not overweight women, and it's just like you have to stick to what you're doing. And this is a ridiculous example, but this movie is like that. Nothing fits. They go to this anthropologist who knows about wolves, and then so all of a sudden he gets on his little tiny mini bike motorcycle, ridiculous thing, yeah. Moped piece of junk, and then he drives out into Central Park looking for wolves. And then he kind of finds them. And then he got scared and he tries to run. Of course, then the wolves kill him. But then he's like, what are you doing going out looking for wolves? You know what's going to happen. You're the expert on wolves. You know they're apex predators. What are you thinking? And then the wolves follow this detective to her apartment. And it's like, how do they do that? You know, it's like they can follow somebody in their car and they're driving 40 miles an hour, I guess. And then they're watching through the windows while her and the other detective have this little romantic thing. And of course, you know, you can use a lot of the movie is seen through the eyes of the wolves. It reminds me of the movie Predator, which came later. Made me think Predator got the idea from these guys. But, you know, it's like whenever you're looking through the eyes of the wolves, you know, that's like a little infrared and there's this little creepy noise going on. And Roger, this movie. Do you like this movie?
Gene, as usual, I love this movie. And so part of the deal was...
What is appealing about this movie? There's nothing going on. The bad kills are poor. You know, horror movies really horror movie. It's a horror movie, right? You got to have good kills. You know, good horror movies have good kills. You know, that's what it's all about, right? But no.
Gene, are you
It just
finished?
doesn't make any sense because there are no werewolves. They're just wolves, right? Wolves. We know what wolves look like, but they do very unwolf things. And somehow there's the community of Native Americans. Yeah, they turn into these wolves, you know. It's just like, okay, but dear Lord.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk anymore.
Well, you've talked for a good 7 minutes about your hatred for this
movie.
I love this movie.
I just keep sighing. I'm going to sigh again. This is a sigh.
I love this movie, and I love...
Why?
They're spirit wolves.
Spirit wolves.
And so that's why they can get around so readily and easily.
Because they exist in the spirit realm.
Absolutely. Well, and you even see them at the end of the movie fade out.
Yes. There's a scene they're there, and then it's just gone the next. Because I guess it went into the spirit world. Yes, I guess. Okay.
Right, and so that explains how they can get around so readily. That explains how they can live right there in New York and not be discovered.
Right, but they have these like glowing red eyes, kind of like the movie. What was that other piece of garbage movie? we got to watch some better movies, Roger. This is just,
Well, and it's interesting because I had not seen Wolfen for, 30 years, easy.
Yeah. Did you see it in the
Yeah, saw it in the Fireweed Theater, which is
now torn down,
now long gone.
Yeah.
But
things change. We live up here in Anchorage, and they tear down a lot of buildings up here.
Well, and sometimes they just collapse from the snow, which is happening a lot.
Yeah, we have like 100 inches of snow. It's just like crazy. It's just early February.
Yeah,
it's going to snow some more.
I remember loving this movie then. I bought it actually on Laserdisc, so it was a joy last night pulling out the Laserdisc and running that thing.
Talk about the movie Wolfen, and then one of the next words out of your mouth is joy.
Yes.
How is that possible?
So I love the creation of the world here. Like the last two episodes, we've talked about how it was really a centralized character, right? Dee Wallace in The Howling, and then David Naughton in American Werewolf in London. And it was just them. It was just
you're really focusing on them. There are no central characters.
Here, it's an entire world build. You have the American Indian people. You have that security group that are going after the terrorists who they think are the actual
it's a little subplot
people
of
that are killing
anti-terrorism
people.
using their high technology.
You have the police detective played by Albert Finney. Trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, trying to reclaim his woe-begotten life.
And so I liked how this world was alive with different things happening, not recognizing, and he was the only one that ultimately recognized that there's these spirit wolves trying to reclaim or protect their ancient land, right? And I love the sets of this because this is New York in 1980-81.
Yeah, New York, yes.
There is some clearly failed neighborhoods in that area, and they're all decayed and crumbled, and so that was
right. New York went through a part of its history, which was pretty bad. I think New York has made a remarkable remarkable recovery.
Oh, of course,
because none of
yeah.
those neighborhoods exist anymore.
Right, right. And so the director, Michael Wadley, he used that natural set to
Yes, he did.
perfection there. I like the wolf vision thing. That was the first use, really, of any technique like
wolf
that.
vision, yes.
Wolf vision is what
it
I'm
later
call
became predator vision
Right.
much more effectively, yes.
And I would disagree. I think the kills are pretty cool as far as 1981 effects. The decapitation sequence is pretty awesome.
Where the black detective at the end gets his head cut off. Does he get his? No, he doesn't.
No, the chief of police guy that was given Albert Finney. Oh, you're going.
Oh
on
yeah,
the wrong track.
there's that motif is like every cop has got his boss
Yeah.
who's like on him, you know.
But I just
What's wrong with you, Hutch?
I just think you enter into this world where
Or
this
Barney Miller, maybe.
fantastical thing is happening, and it's kind of this police procedural trying to figure out what's going on, and I really liked that part. And this film doesn't hold back. There's morgue sequences and stuff like that where they're trying to figure out what's going on.
Yes, a lot of dead bodies in the morgue. Yes.
And-
I wonder
and-
if they're really dead or if they were actors.
I'm pretty sure those are makeup effects there on those human beings.
Because there's lots of bodies like
Mm-hmm.
laying on, the autopsy tables. What
Yeah.
if they just like were really dead?
No, they're not going down that road in this movie.
They
But-
could be dead.
Well, of course they could be, Eugene.
Well,
but
how would
they-
we know? They just like maybe just went down there and just with the camera and just started shooting.
That's probably way more permits that you could ever possibly get. Right?
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure they're actors. Yes.
But I just
yeah,
I
that'd be
think
legal.
this movie, and because I actually think this movie could be a good entry point for people that want to test out horror but aren't really into horror, because it really is kind of a police procedural. Things kind of just move along where he's trying to figure stuff out.
No.
But I am going to go back
no,
to
No, don't do that.
Howling, American Werewolf in London, and Wolfen. They all came out in 1981. I remembered liking Wolfen the best out of the three, and
You're
I am
out of your
still on
mind.
that,
You've
level.
Got to be out of your mind.
I just think it's interesting,
It's
and
like-
it's a good journey to figure out what's going
Outside
on,
again.
and the collection of different characters all intersecting and interacting with each other, and the sequence where the Native American shaman is basically saying what
Edward
these
James
things are.
Olmos.
Well, no, the older guy who was really just talking about how they might even be gods and things like that. And I just
No, Olmos said that, didn't
was
he?
it? I thought it was the older guy.
It could have been the old guy. I was pretty checked out by then.
But yeah, I'm into this.
But
movie.
it was a young Edward James Olmos. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
very
this,
interesting.
yeah,
See,
this may
so young.
may very well been his first one or two movies for sure.
Yeah, 1981.
But yeah, I just and the fact that Albert Finney's in this movie is
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
I'm
Five-time
used to-
Academy Award nominee Albert Finney is like, I'm going to do Wolfen.
Yeah, and I'm used to seeing Edward James Olmos in Battlestar Galactica because they rebooted that thing. I remember we were living in New Orleans and we had to evacuate because of Katrina in 2005. There was 8 feet of water in our neighborhood for like 3 weeks. We went back into our neighborhood and there's a bathtub lying around our neighborhood. It's weird. But yeah, we evacuated to Tennessee, and then what do you do in Tennessee? There's nothing to do in Tennessee. So we were Battlestar Galactica just came out, so we were like watching it in our hotel room. I remember that. We have somehow that it brings back Katrina evacuating from a hurricane.
Well,
Yeah, okay, I'm way off track
great.
now,
Well,
but I want to
mean,
talk about.
and this
I don't
is-
want to talk about Wolfen.
This is
anymore.
this is what
This
happens to
just
Gene
don't
when
watch this
he
movie.
hates the movie. We've talked about Patrick Mahomes for some reason. We're talking now about Hurricane Katrina. This movie wasn't really given a fair shake at the box office.
Yeah, that's good because it's no good.
Well, it was not distributed properly.
Yeah, well, people knew it was garbage.
And so, well, no, it is. It's Gene. I love it, Gene, when you just absolutely hate a movie. And you hated Event Horizon, and you
yeah.
hate this one, and you didn't really like Phantasm. I'm sorry that this is happening to you, because I think
yes.
Wolfen is a movie that horror fans should see. It's a movie that has not been was forgotten about, came out at the wrong time. Wasn't distributed very well by the studio. There was a lot of backstory of some arguing between the studio and the director,
Yeah,
Michael
Orion.
Ryan. Michael Wadley, of course, the only other thing he'd really done up to that point was Woodstock, the documentary. And then this was the only movie, probably the only narrative movie he ever did, and he never did another movie. But I really like his deliberate pacing. I like the way he sets the camera. I do like the wolf vision scenes a lot, where why can't that person see this wolf that's clearly right there? It's because it's Spirit Wolf.
It's Spirit Wolf. It's invisible.
Yeah, and I like the connection between kind of, you were mocking it a little bit earlier, but I do like the commentary about, the passage of time, where the character is saying that you, Albert Finney, you're actually not the apex predator you think you are. There's a higher power that is, and all of your technology and all of your civilization and stuff can't compete with this reality.
Right.
And the fact that it's right there in downtown in New York, right there, the
New
big
York,
city.
mostly the Bronx, although some of it is in Lower Manhattan.
And the Gregory Hines,
like Battery Park,
is the main mortician guy here, and he
dies at the end because he just can't. He's got an addiction to chips.
Right.
Just put the bag of chips down and.
Well, in fact, why do you have the morgue guy out there on your big stakeout anyway? But yes. I like the fact that he, brings up the fact that, thousands of people disappear in big cities like this.
Right.
And then the Edward James Olmos character near the end is talking about, these things live on the unwanted of your society, the society.
Yeah,
and
they chew out the diseased organs of their victims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, Gene hates it. Very clear. We've all heard him.
And you have to dispute some things that they just say. Like, do thousands of people go disappearing every year? I'm a little skeptical.
Well, we're living in Alaska, and we certainly have a long list of where are these people. Right?
Yes.
And so.
But America is a large nation. But I would have to look that up. And there's an assertion made by some medical professionals at the beginning of this movie is that if there's a stab wound, microscopic parts of the metal knife are left in the victim, and an X-ray machine can pick that up. And he was amazed because the X-ray machine picked up no remnants of these metal particles. So he's wondering, well, what kind of animal or how could these people have been killed? Because they clearly weren't killed with the knife. And I actually looked that up because I was really skeptical. Because it's like, no, metal is very hard. And no, you can, use it on your steak or whatever. And no, it doesn't leave metal particles. And I looked it up and I did. And no, I'm right. Metal, when you use a knife, it does not leave any metal traces at all. And so the movie is just making an assertion that I found really skeptical. And I don't know, when things happen like that, again, you have to you create a universe, but you have to kind of live within your universe. You have to not break the rules that you yourself set up. The producers, directors, actors, all that. But here they blow it. With just that. And I'm just like, I started to lose it just right there. And we're like maybe 10 minutes into the movie.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of a pass on that, because the bigger question there is, why couldn't they obviously tell it was not a knife anyway?
Right.
These people have clearly been bitten and ravaged by claws and things
like
that.
The woman she's almost decapitated. The guy, I think he did get it. No, he was just all slashed up.
Yeah.
But the guy, bodyguard, he was going to pull out his gun and blast the wolves. Because he did see it, but then the wolf just bit his arm off.
Right.
But all this stuff just happens and you don't really see it. There's no terror. There's no suspense. There's no horror.
Oh, Gene. I love it.
Please
when
don't
Gene
watch
just
this
hates
movie. Stay away from this movie.
I would recommend people, especially seasoned horror fans, if you have not seen Wolfen, you definitely should give it a try. It is very unique.
1 hour and 54 minutes. You'll never get back.
And for most of us, that will be just fine, because it's a good film.
Yeah, you could probably
So, Gene, just for
make
fun,
a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches instead. That might be more
just for
satisfying.
fun, and we haven't talked about this in a long time, but just for fun, I went back and found the Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert review of Wolfen. They loved it.
You know, those guys, look,
They loved it.
sometimes maybe go back and listen to those guys, and you just kind of shake your head sometimes. It's like, what in the world is like? Maybe they were on drugs or something, or maybe they were watched too many movies, or they're spending too much time at their day jobs. But some of their reviews were just exceedingly inarticulate, and it just didn't make any sense at all. It's like,
Well,
yeah, I think they're revolutionary for their time, and clearly they were. They were like the pioneers of that genre. But, you know, you have schedules you got to keep, and maybe they didn't even watch those movies, and they just had their little flunkies. Oh, you go watch it and then tell me what you think, and then I'll just say what you said.
don't be treating Siskel and Ebert like that. They
Yeah,
watched
I am
everything.
gonna. I've watched some of them, and I've listened. I've watched those guys, and I heard some of their reviews, and I'm just like, it's like, what did you graduate from 5th grade? Just like, what's wrong with you?
Pulitzer Prize winning Roger Ebert. But it was interesting.
Well, even
though.
Pulitzer Prizers, they can't. They have a bad day.
Well,
you know
and
they do.
obviously with horror films, Siskel and Ebert were
Wolfen.
not necessarily horror film fans.
And I don't take those guys as being authoritative on any level.
Oh my gosh. It was interesting though to listen to that, watch that review, because of course it was that moment in time. It was 1981 when they were reviewing it, so they were talking about the wolf vision thing and how unique that was and how they hadn't seen it before. And of course,
It was cutting edge at that time.
At this day and age, of course, we've been inundated
we
with
saw
that
Predator.
kind of thing, right? And many other films that do that kind of thing.
Predator too.
But it was interesting. You might, just for fun, it's only like 3.5 minutes where they talk about it. You might go look at that and just see what the actual contemporary review that they had of that was. It was pretty good.
Yeah, that show, I thought they bit off a little too much, because every show they were reviewing like 5 movies, right? So, I mean, did they really watch the 5 movies? I really don't think they did.
Oh, my gosh, Gene, do not be knocking Siskel and Ebert.
No,
baby.
they had to. How could they do their day job and do that? So, no, they just hired some little dude.
That was their job. That's
no,
all.
they would say at the beginning, "Oh, I'm the movie critic for the Chicago Sun-Times. Oh, and I'm the movie critic for the Chicago Post." So they had day jobs, right?
But they had to watch the movie to write the review, and then they just do their little show.
No, I think they just hired
Oh
some
my
grade
gosh.
school dude,
Oh my
somebody in
gosh.
3rd grade, and just said, "Go watch this movie."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
All right. Well, we have clear division here on Wolfen.
yeah. Don't watch this
Gene
movie.
absolutely hates it.
Hates it.
I actually think it's the best wolf-related movie that came out
No,
in
American
1981.
Werewolf in London. If you want to put a numerical scale on it, American Werewolf in London, it's like the 100 scale. Maybe is this like in the 71. Howling would be like a 33. This movie, I don't know, 17.
Oh my gosh! All right,
Yeah.
we'll leave that to rest now. Apparently, Gene, we have to do some artsy fartsy A24 next week, or what do we have to do?
Yeah,
to
I think
pull you out of this
for the
funk?
next few weeks, we're going to be picking my movies. Yeah, Roger and I were talking about sometimes movies are, I think, mislabeled, and they really are truly horror, because I think horror is kind of really 2 things: is that some kind of deformation of the human form, and also on some level, horror, like good horror, should make you feel uncomfortable. You know, it should make you a little squeamish about what you're watching, or makes you think about, maybe your own personal decisions, or makes you think about the way our country is going, or our society as a whole. That's probably a better way to put it. And there's a movie by Lynn Ramsey, You Are Never Really Here. It's available on Amazon Prime. So it's not advertised as horror, but it's clearly horror.
Mm-hmm. And
So I think we'll do that next week.
And so Amazon Prime is this? Do I get commercials now because of Amazon Prime? Do I have to pay the extra $2.99?
We have this small business up here, this custom cake business, and we do lots of Amazon kind of orders. And Amazon Prime just goes with the territory.
Right, but they did their whole thing now where they're having commercials.
Yes. Jerks.
Am I going to be 40 minutes in and suddenly I have to watch commercials for a couple minutes?
You have to pay a little bit extra,
Oh
I
my
guess,
gosh.
for the commercial free.
Annoying. So anyway,
It's like $3.
what's the name of this film again?
You Were Never Really Here.
All right, so that's the one that I think we're locked in to do next week. Also, I do want to remind everyone we are the Shining episode with Diag Nonsense. That should be coming out sometime towards the end of next week.
Yes.
So check
We'll
that out.
record that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Roger and I were pretty in agreement that The Shining in of itself is a piece of garbage. But then, because that's how I kind of remember it, because I saw it at a drive-in. When I was a kid, saw lots of movies at a drive-in. But I don't know, maybe I was distracted. But then I watched this movie again, and, it doesn't suck.
Yeah, Gene's been drinking the Kool-Aid. The Shining's a piece of crap. But check us out on that episode.
It doesn't. It's no.
I am not turning this into a Shining episode. You find the Diag Nonsense episode when it comes out and hear about it then.
Go watch The Shining. Don't watch the Wolfen.
Oh, no. Wolfen is 10 million times better than The Shining. Anyway, we've got to get out of here before Gene starts punching
The Shining is architectural impossibilities, by the way.
All right.
And the real Stanley Hotel does have a maze in front of it. Yeah.
Well, but that's one of the problems with that movie. But
it's a much smaller maze than what's depicted in the movie, and it's not quite as cool.
Well, they probably threw it in there after the movie came out.
Yeah, and it's much smaller. It's much smaller.
Anyway,
I got to talk about something else.
Yeah,
I got to purge my
let's
mind.
get out of here. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.